Imagine it's 1932. The Great Depression has America in a chokehold. Businesses have collapsed, unemployment is soaring, and families are left struggling to put food on the table. Amid this hardship, a group of determined veterans, men who had fought in the brutal trenches of World War I, found themselves battling a different kind of war on the home front. These veterans were promised a bonus by the government as a reward for their service. But here's the catch. The payment, officially called the World War Adjusted Compensation Act, wasn't scheduled to be paid until 1945. For most, that seemed like a distant dream when the reality of the present was poverty and hunger. As the Depression deepened, these ex-soldiers demanded immediate payment. Desperate times called for desperate measures. In the spring of 1932, tens of thousands of veterans and their families traveled to Washington, D.C. from all over the country. They called themselves the Bonus Expeditionary Force, but the press quickly dubbed them the Bonus Army. These men were not radicals or revolutionaries, just ordinary Americans, many still wearing their old military uniforms, who were now homeless and hungry. They set up makeshift camps and shantytowns in the heart of the capital. These camps were sprawling, chaotic communities, with veterans sleeping in tents, under tarps, or in wooden shacks. It was a somber scene, but one filled with a stubborn determination. The veterans pleaded with Congress to pass legislation that would pay out their bonuses immediately. The House of Representatives, swayed by the sight of so many struggling veterans, actually passed a bill to pay the bonuses. But when the bill reached the Senate, it was crushed. The veterans' hopes were dashed, but they stayed on, believing in the power of peaceful protest. Tensions escalated as summer dragged on. President Herbert Hoover, facing re-election and trying to maintain order, saw the bonus army as a potential threat. He ordered the veterans to disperse, but many refused. They had nowhere else to go. Hoover decided to take more drastic action. He called in the U.S. Army, led by General Douglas MacArthur, with his young aides Dwight D. Eisenhower and George Patton by his side. What happened next is one of the darkest moments in American history. The Army marched into Washington, fully armed and equipped with tanks, bayonets, and tear gas. Under orders from MacArthur, they forcefully cleared out the veterans, burning their camps and chasing them away. The sight of soldiers attacking their own comrades, the men who had fought to protect the nation just a few years earlier, shocked the public. The Bonus Army incident was a public relations disaster for Hoover. It symbolized everything that had gone wrong under his watch. A government out of touch with the people, willing to use force against those who only wanted what they were owed. It's often said that this event sealed Hoover's fate in the 1932 election, paving the way for Franklin D. Roosevelt and the New Deal. The Bonus Army eventually got paid, but it took a few more years of struggle and political change. In 1936, 4 years after the Bonus Army protest, Congress passed the Adjusted Compensation Payment Act, often called the Bonus Act. This act authorized the immediate payment of the bonuses that were originally scheduled for 1945. The bill was initially vetoed by President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who was concerned about the financial burden on the government during the Great Depression. But Congress, responding to the overwhelming public sympathy for the veterans, overrode the veto. As a result, over 3 million World War I veterans finally received their bonus payments in 1936. This payment brought much-needed relief to many of those who had been struggling since the Great Depression began. What do you think? Would you have been on the veterans' side? Let me know down in the comments section below, and like and subscribe for more.